Welcome, my friends. This is all about how to finally stop overthinking in our lives. Overthinking, it will self-sabotage so many things in our life. I made this video a little bit longer. I spent many hours editing it. I hope you spend the time to listen to this video till the end. Do not underestimate them when you get rid of overthinking, what this can do for your life and break through everything. Maybe you're going through a tough time, maybe you're going through a breakup. The secret is not overthinking. Maybe you're going on an entrepreneurial journey, do something big, get out of the Groundhog Day. Maybe your 9 to 5 doesn't light you up. Please share your thoughts and comments, and I'll be making videos based around your comments and reading every single one of them. Anything is possible when we learn to control our mind. Okay, let's dive in. Before I started going off down that rabbit hole, she asked again, do you want to do the half marathon? You should do the half marathon. Like, she's very encouraging and convincing. And so without thinking, get it? Without thinking, I just said, yeah, let's do it. And I didn't really think much further in that moment, even though I was partying the night before. I was up, and I ran that thing. And long story short, we got married, had an amazing marriage, and we had the most amazing little girl. Imagine if I had overthought this, if I just said, I'll get back to you. I would have talked myself out of it with all this crap. Like, no, I'm not ready. I'll do the next one. I'll do the next one. How many of us have been through this? In this circumstance, that one yes, the 5-second rule of just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yes. Let's do it. What if we do more of that? All right. Overthinking affects all of us. It affects us when we're young. It affects our relationships. It affects our businesses, our entrepreneur journeys. Too much thinking will keep us small, keep us limited. It'll stop us from getting to those goals and dreams. In this video, stay till the end because we are going to go through the 5 things that may just change your life, your whole journey. Let's get started right now. All right, I've seen myself go through a lot of struggles with overthinking, especially because I used to be stuck in perfectionism, something I think we all can really relate to. And I see so much overthinking for entrepreneurs. As entrepreneurs, maybe we go on this journey to something exciting, something new, and then the first few steps uncover all of the insecurities inside us, deep down usually. And so this creates this spiral of panic and psychological fear inside us that sends us into this spiral of overthinking. Now, the overthinking is there to actually protect us from feeling uncomfortable. It's a psychological fear protection. So we've got to dig a little deeper to unravel this, strip back the layers, let go of some layers, so that we can finally, once and for all, move forward without overthinking every single thing in our life, our relationship, our entrepreneur journeys, and then we can fly. There's 2 types of overthinking that I've noticed. Number 1 is emotional pain. When we go through a really heavy emotional experience, such as a breakup, this sparks off all those insecurities again, usually from the past. And these insecurities, these psychological fears, come from our patterns and our past stories that we've been through, our past tough emotional experiences that we haven't really quite let go. And so they come back and back again in our future. And so when we go through a breakup or a tough time, all of those insecurities come flooding to the surface. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not important. People don't notice me. What's my purpose? Who am I? And there's another type or scenario that comes up a lot. I see it everywhere in the entrepreneur space. Entrepreneurial overthinking. When we're starting a new business or starting a new dream or starting a new venture or even starting a new goal, it involves stepping out of our comfort zone. When we step out of our comfort zone, our insecurities again come to the surface and we start questioning ourselves the first time something goes wrong. We get excited for the start of the journey and then we get challenged. And when we get challenged, it's all about how can we deal with tension? How can we deal with difficulty? How can we deal with our backs against the wall? Now, because of the past, this triggers so much inside us. Imagine we've got all these triggers. I'm going to draw it out in a second. Imagine we've got all these triggers from the past. So when we get out of our comfort zone or when we go through emotional pain, these 2 scenarios, all of those triggers fire. And it may just be something someone says. It may be questioning ourselves. It may be going on video, doing something brand new out of your comfort zone, and all of these triggers get fired. About, I'm not good enough, who am I to do this? All right, so diving in, number one is getting in the now, getting present. Not only will this help you with your overthinking, but thinking less will help you with everything in your life. It will help you with your relationships, your connections. So quick story here. A friend of mine was going through a breakup, and even though it didn't quite appear his fault, he didn't necessarily think it was his fault. He went back to all the stories in his past of all the other things he'd screwed up, all the relationships he'd screwed up. Why do I keep messing up every time? And go back all the way through the past of all the past stories. So the breakup was the trigger for him. So imagine these dots are the triggers. We have triggers. We all have triggers that set us off. If you're ever wondering how to find out what your triggers are, look at your own reactive behavior. When you get reactive and defensive, and when you make excuses, look at those three things, and you'll be able to list out your triggers and actually face them head on and start working on releasing the triggers. But in this situation, so the breakup is a massive emotional experience. Like we talked about, it's heavy, it's hard to deal with, it takes time to release and process through. But instead, our thinking starts to spiral. One thought about, why did this happen to me? Spirals into the next thought of, it happened to me 10 years ago. Like, why do my relationships keep messing up? And it went to the next thought of, I remember as a kid just struggling and people not noticing me. I remember getting bullied at school. And so imagine there's a network of thoughts from the past that are not all true. There's the key, they're not all true, but they all get lit up by this experience. And so negative overthinking is about one trigger that happens and it starts to spiral and grow. And it only grows because we attach to this thought and start to attach to the other ones. So we're going to come back to that first thought in our second powerful tip. But for now, we know the past. The past is the only place we overthink. The spirals happen, the network of negativity lights up, starts to create this energy inside us that makes us feel terrible. And then we start questioning ourselves. And not only that, but when we light up this past network, especially if it's negative, we will start to project it into the future. And so by actually projecting it into the future, we make it very much more likely to happen, because those are all the things we notice when we go about our day of looking for how things could go wrong again. And so a couple of big recommendations. Listen to Sadhguru on YouTube. Just Google it if you're not sure who that is. He talks a lot about being in the moment, being in the now. And he describes this actually as mental diarrhea. Our brains are having diarrhea, our thoughts are in diarrhea. And what happens when we get in this state where our thoughts are just going crazy and overthinking and over-exaggerating everything? What happens is we get sick. Our body rejects that amount of negativity. And so it can affect our whole bodies, it can affect our organs, it affects how we show up in the world, it affects everyone that we speak to. So this is really important. Check out my videos around negative thinking. There's a whole series of shorts around negative thinking, how to escape negative thinking. And there's a long video as well, so check that out. I will link to it somewhere in the description or on the screen. But for now, because this is an epidemic. Negative thinking and overthinking is such an epidemic. And we need to help each other escape from this. But a couple of recommendations. Check out Sadhguru and check out The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, or Eckhart Tolle. This is a book that's changed a lot of perspectives in my life. Let's look at how we can think about this power of now to escape from overthinking. All right, so this is the now. Think of it as the current moment, the moment that just happened on this camera, the moment that happens when you're out walking your dog, the moment that happens when you're with a loved one, and you're really, really, really present. So you're taking everything in, but with your senses rather than thinking. It's about feeling, not thinking. The more you focus on feeling and experiencing everything that's going on in every single moment and feeding off that, you don't have any space left to overthink. Here's a classic scenario that I go through with overthinking a lot. I'll walk into a new class, or I'll be on the way to going to a class, and I'll start to think about how the class is gonna go. Maybe it's I'm too shy, maybe what am I wearing? Maybe I look stupid, maybe I look a little bit, maybe I'm not quite as fit as I should be right now. All these maybes come up, and we've gone to the past. And my favorite times ever where I have just said, let's do it, let's jump straight into action and deliberately focus on the now so much in each moment that I haven't got any room to think. I'll walk through that door without thinking. In those times, those are the best experiences. I remember writing an article for Authority magazine online, and a friend of mine was saying, well, you got to write your submission with 200 words, and you've got to make sure it's 200 words, and you've got to do this, and you've got to do that. And my friend maybe spent 2 or 3 weeks writing this 200-word submission and got accepted. And I remember doing the same thing, and I thought I just got lucky. But in actual fact, I was just laying there in the bath, and I didn't really have time, so there was so much other stuff going on. And I quickly wrote my submission up, and it wasn't 200 words, it was like 400 words. Quick edits, quick spell check, and I just pressed send. I was so in the now, I didn't give any thought about how, am I good enough to do this? Am I gonna get accepted? All the what ifs, and then start projecting my future of what would happen. I just pressed send and thought, I'm not gonna be attached to what happens. I'm just gonna show up, do stuff, and not be attached. I'm more than happy to succeed, and I'm gonna get really good at failure. I'm gonna get real good at feeling how failing feels. It's really important. And so these days, the more time, as much time as possible I spend in the now, and the now is about feeling and not thinking. All right, number 2 is let go of that first thought. So let's go back to the board a second. All right, so practice letting go of this first thought that happened from a trigger from the past. The first thought that pulls you into the past, into starting this spiral. So let go of the first negative, especially negative thought that lights up from one of your triggers from the past, that lights up your whole network, that starts you spiraling. And you know these too well. But really important, never avoid this thought, never block it, never shut it out, never shut that emotion out, never shut the feeling that comes up, never block the thought. You want to accept the thought and smile at the thought and let it go, even if it's a negative. So let's say I'm feeling scared about getting on camera, which I've been through this 2 years ago, my first time on camera, and I was freaking. When 2020 hit, I wanted to do something great. I wanted to bring people together and create a community online. So we did this 30 super days online of Zooms, of music and events and speeches and motivation to help people feel connected and better. And my first time, it was my first time on video, and I felt so worried. And I remember that day because it could have gone all around the cycle of feeling shy when I was younger, going through feeling like I've been a follower my whole life, feeling like I could never be the bold person. I'm the person that hides away. But I remember that day because I had an hour to go before the video, the Zoom, and I didn't know what to expect. I was nervous, very nervous. And I just canceled this thought. I canceled it. And you know how I canceled it? I went out on a run. And I went out and I ran for half an hour, even though I had the meeting coming up. I didn't need to prepare anything. I didn't need to think about anything. I didn't need to have the perfect slides. I didn't need to get into perfectionism and make this anything. I didn't need to be attached to how it was gonna go. I just had to feel good. I had to be in the now. So I went into the now, I went running, and I felt electric just from exercising. My body felt great. And then I just went into the video with 5 minutes notice and said, okay. And we just rolled with it. And it worked because we rolled with it with energy, because we were in the now. We weren't trying to think about making the perfect video. And it's the same if you're going through struggles in your relationship or what someone thinks about you. or a negative comment online, or self-sabotage where we say to ourselves, I'm too old. If I say I'm too old, or I'm not good enough, or there's no way I can do that, I'm not skilled enough. Everyone can learn every skill out there. Trust me, we need to stop with these beliefs that keep us stuck for years. I didn't dance for 37 years of my life. I was terrible because I was in my head. I was thinking and thinking and thinking. And then one day I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to a class and walk in and see what happens with no attachment, and I'm gonna be completely in the now. And it doesn't matter how good or bad I was, because I just loved the experience. The environment, the people was electric. And so I kept on doing it and doing it. It's the same in sport. When this first thought strikes and we know it's unhealthy, we gotta firstly turn on our awareness of our thoughts. We have got to know that our thoughts are not us. We've got to create this gap so that we are just watching our thoughts. Because 6,000 thoughts a day, some of them are going to be pretty accurate. Many of them are going to be absolute bull, BS. And so watch your thoughts and choose which ones you want to give power to. And this takes practice, but when you do this, it becomes incredibly powerful. One of the best bits of advice I was ever given is imagine that first thought is you watching a movie screen. You're watching a drama on Netflix. It's not you. You're watching what you're going through. Instead of you being scared, you're watching yourself thinking that you're scared. There's a big difference, because then it doesn't feel as heavy. It's like you're just watching all these thoughts go by, choosing which ones you want to rule your life. And when you watch this and the power is taken away from it, maybe even give this guy a little smile, like you're enjoying watching that drama. Maybe intense, but it's fun. It's not happening to you anymore. It's just an experience that you're watching and seeing. This doesn't define you. It's just an experience that you're having, just a pattern from the past. And it becomes so much easier to then let go of this thought. Now, if you catch the first thought, the rest of them will not spiral. And this is how, when I went through a really, really tough breakup and I couldn't control my thoughts at times, that was the first time in 20 plus years I wasn't able to control my emotions. But after a few minutes, I was able to again. And so if that thought does start to spiral, just again, detach from it, practice this, try to let go. Your aim is always accept the thought, love it a little bit, even if it's negative, smile at it, reframe it until it doesn't have any power, and then it will just fade. Letting go becomes easier. And for that, check out this piece of magic, Letting Go by David Hawkins. And when you let go, you always return to the now. And again, this is not just about overthinking. This is about everything in life, of better relationships with your kids, with your family, with friends, with strangers that you meet. When you're in the now, incredible things and possibilities happen. When you stop overthinking and get in the now, you recover from breakups so fast. I've been through this. You go on entrepreneur journeys so fast. I've created courses in 3 or 4 days just by not letting any perfectionism in, not letting overthinking happen. My rule is 75% good enough and it's good to go. And you just start, just press that button, just send that email, and don't attach the outcome. All right, moving on. All right, this one's quick but super powerful. Take fast action. Specifically, try this, the 5-second rule. I do this with my daughter, the 3-second rule. And it's about counting down and just doing something. And what happens is we start off in the moment with something that excites us, that lights us up. Maybe it's booking a ticket to an event that you always wanted to go to. And then what happens a few seconds later, all this stuff will fire up around, I can't do this, I'm too old to do that. I can't be jumping into an entrepreneur journey after 40 years old. And it's BS. I can't start dancing when I'm 37 from nothing. Can't change career. I can't get out of that relationship. Follow the urges, follow the fascinations, get curious about things that you want to do and write them all down. And look at the most powerful ones that you feel inside you, and then head towards them with a 5-second rule. So very quick and easy. You count to 5 and you just do it. What happens is you short circuit. Mel Robbins talks about a lot of evidence about in your brain before we start to get to the part where overthinks, which Vishen from Mind Valley calls the meaning making machine, where we look up all the stories from the past. That takes a few seconds to kick in. And so before that happens, just do the action anyway. Just jump in the car, go to the gym, just walk in that class, just go say hi to someone you're attracted to. Just book the ticket to go to that thing you've always dreamed of. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and do it. Wake up in the morning, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and get out of bed, as Mel always talks about. And everything will change. Because when you build a habit of stepping into action, you build true self-confidence, you build self-esteem, you build self-trust that you're going to do what you say. All right, so very similar to stepping into action a lot. Practice not overthinking. And so the best 2 recommendations are yoga and meditation. So yoga is going to be so healthy for your body and your mind. It will help you clear out the thoughts. I have so many people that have tried yoga and they go there and they come back and say, I don't know, I was just laying there and I couldn't stop thinking about I can't concentrate. I'm thinking about everything else. And isn't that the irony? Because the whole purpose is to get better at not thinking about all the other things and get in tune and touch with your body and what you're feeling and just to be, to think as little as possible. And yoga is your environment to learn that step by step. Meditation is the same environment to just be and let that stream of thoughts just float by and get really good at detaching from them. When you get really, really skilled at this, your now will expand. You'll start to notice incredible things around you. You'll start to meet new people, new connections. You'll have amazing walks. You'll appreciate so much walking with your dog, for instance, without having to worry about all the things you've got to do. The overthinking. So practice yoga and meditation as much as you can, and anything else that gets you into a state of being super, super present and grounded. And you'll find things like ego and judgment and complaining. It's all this network that you let go and you're fully present, and nothing can faze you. Nothing can bring you down when you get really good at being here. So practice, practice, practice. Build a habit of letting go. Build a habit of being in the now. Build a habit of no thinking as long as you can. Massive, powerful thing number 5 about overthinking is detaching from the outcome, detaching from how things need to be, detaching from winning or losing or failing, and loving that process. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is not to worry about what anyone else thinks, unless they're a close role model of yours, in which case they're going to be someone that is inspiring to you, that is maybe further along in the journey, maybe further along in the mindset journey, maybe further along in the entrepreneurial journey. And that role model will have valuable advice for you because they've lived it and they've been through it and they've got the wisdom. But in regards to just, posting things out there and worrying about negative comments or just showing up and being bold, it doesn't matter. People are just filling their own time adding negative comments because they're bored and probably really, really feeling stuck that they have time to do that. So don't ever worry about, Brené Brown described it as people in the stands kind of the peanut gallery throwing peanuts at you. You don't have to worry about this. And versus the person that's actually been in the arena and done the battle. Only listen to the people in the arena, and you go ahead and do whatever bold stuff you want that is true to you. And just know that worrying about what other people think about you doesn't matter in this past. When we start overthinking here, again, it's all in the past stories, the triggers we've been through about what people think. It's because deep down, we need a purpose. It's usually because deep down we need to feel appreciated. We need to feel loved. We need to feel noticed. Well, the best way you can feel noticed is to be in the now, have amazing energy, be inspiring, be bold, be truly yourself in the now, and go ahead and build whatever you want to build. Take lots and lots of action, make lots of fails. Every famous entrepreneur, every leader has talked about this very thing of being bold, making the mistakes, and following exactly what they wanted to do with a powerful vision. All right, so thank you so much. I hope this was helpful to you. I spend so much time editing, you have no idea. Maybe 10 times the length of the video is how long it takes to edit that I do by hand. So a thumbs up on this video and taking the time to write a comment below not only helps the video stretch to many, many more people on YouTube, but I really, really appreciate your comments, and I love reading through what people are going through, maybe the massive breakthroughs and wins that people have had. If you've had a breakthrough and win already, then in this area, please comment below and share it with other people. We need to help and we need to uplift each other. Really quick summary about the first steps to get overthinking out of your life. Get so good at being in the now, get so good at being present, being grounded, and everything in your life will be rewarded. Your entrepreneur journeys, you'll be recover from breakups easily. You'll not worry about what people think. You'll not beat yourself up anymore. You won't self-sabotage yourself anymore. So practice it. It doesn't just come for free. Practice getting there with things like meditation, yoga, just being grounded even on a walk with your dog, being grounded with your kids. Put the phone away and use that 5-second rule to take action. Practice taking as much action as possible. If you're stepping out of the comfort zone, you're gonna get a little freaked out. The thinking will get triggered, the overthinking will get triggered. So again, repeat the same process. Focus on letting go of that first thought that before it spirals like crazy. All right, check out my other video on 8 secrets to get out of negative thinking and get that crap out of your life forever. And you're gonna fly with these strategies. And I'm so excited for everyone. Don't forget, please subscribe. We have daily motivational shorts coming out every single day. And every Friday, I will still keep making the videos around as many empowering topics to get you flying and into action as possible. Don't forget to go to achieveanydream.com and sign up for we have a challenge going on, how to actually step into action. So it's perfect right now and overcome the mindset stuff. So that's www.achieveanydream.com, and have a great week. I will see you guys very soon. Take care, and we'll see you soon.